Namaste, Jema. So we resume the talks on the Mother's collected works, and now we start on collected works of the Mother, volume 13, which is also available as Words of the Mother, volume 1. So this is the new arrangement, but otherwise, in the old, this was Words of the Mother, volume 2 also. But now those words are, volume 1 is now changed to Words of Long Ago. So this becomes Words of the Mother, volume 1. So this basically contains Mother's notes, comments, that time published, and some of the notes which were not public statements, and some conversations, some answers to certain questions on Sri Aurobindo, on herself, on the ashram, Sri Aurobindo ashram, then on Auroville, India, other countries, other nations. So it's a very important subject. So we'll be doing it almost 6 or 7 series, and I'll not go exactly as per the sequence because, for example, Mahasamadhi I'll like to take up in December, and Sri Aurobindo ashram I'll like to take up in November. As always, there are certain contexts. So, particularly when it comes to the Mother speaking about the ashram or certain other things about Auroville, India, one has to understand the context and the background so that we don't turn it into a dogma. And yet, these are very, very beautiful guidelines. But first, about Sri Aurobindo. And Sri Aurobindo, what is not yet written here, because we take it for granted. What's in a name? So why Sri Aurobindo? So people use the name casually as Aurobindo, some people, all kinds of things, Arvindo in Hindi. Now it's each one's choice to use the way they want to, but there is the mystery of the name Sri Aurobindo, and it follows a certain kind of development, both in Sri Aurobindo's own yoga and otherwise. So Sri Aurobindo was born as Aurobindo Ghosh. That was his name. And when he went to Cambridge at the age of 7, he was baptized because his father didn't much believe in the Hindu traditions and culture. So he wanted his son to be anglicized. So Sri Aurobindo goes there, a 7-year-old child, and he is taken to a church by one Christian family. And what was added to his name after baptization was Aurobindo Acroyd Ghosh. So acroyd word was added. Now it's very interesting. If you look at in Hindi, Sri Aurobind is a very official accepted name because all the volumes in Hindi are Sri Aurobind and it has been all approved. So there is not like in Hindi also you have to write Sri Aurobindo. But if you look at the meaning of the name, it's very interesting. So Arvind, we all know, it refers to lotus, specifically the red lotus. And it means, of course, lotus is known for its purity. So Aravind means purity, it means beauty, and it means spiritual enlightenment. Lotus has been a sacred symbol almost in most of the traditions, including Buddhism, including Buddhist, the Vaishnava tradition, everywhere. Lotus, we have lotus in the hands of Lord Vishnu. So lotus is always a sign of spiritual awakening or spiritual ascension, whatever way we want to look at it. And of course, purity and beauty. It's purity, that this symbol of purity is very interesting. Because lotus what does it do for its purity? It's in the mud and yet it is pure. It extracts purity out of mud. So it's something very, very special. It transforms the mud and mire into something so beautiful and, climbing to the sky. So this is the meaning of the name Aurobindo in Hindi. I'll come to the word Sri a little later. But what does Aurobindo mean? Anybody, any idea? There is a metal whose name is aurum, and it comes from the Latin gold. And not only gold, the word Aurobindo actually means shining gold. So you see, names are important because many times names were meant to represent certain qualities. So even in yogi, so with Sri Aurobindo we don't write anything like Swami Sri Aurobindo or Maharishi Sri Aurobindo or Yogi Sri Aurobindo, none of these things. Not even Bhagwan Sri Aurobindo, because there is something very special that he brings. And that is itself already there in the name. So this idea of name containing it was a very well-known ancient tradition. For example, Krishna. So Maharishi Garg gives him the name. So what is the meaning of Krishna? One who attracts everyone. So the name itself, from there comes Akarshan and Vikarshan, Sankarshan, all of them come from the same root. So Krishna by the name itself says everything. So you don't have to write anything before Shri Krishna. Of course, there are several names people have given. Just like to Sri Aurobindo, there are several names people have given. And one of them, which those who are interested, is the 108 names of Sri Aurobindo. It's in Sanskrit, also in Tamil, and it was written by a great yogi who lived in Sri Aurobindo Ashram, Gangadharanji. And he himself had remarkable experiences of very supramental nature and completely surrendered to the mother and Sri Aurobindo. His life is very interesting. So he had written 108 names of Sri Aurobindo. It has been sung very beautifully by late Chinmay Maheshwari and Devjani, but Chinmay Maheshwari's rendering is just remarkable. I posted it on the group actually for those who are interested. So the name Sri Aurobindo came through a series of Aurobindo Ackroyd Ghosh. Then when he came and he was back to Aurobindo Ghosh. And then when he started writing in the Bande Matram, Karmi Yogin. So in Bande Matram, you will see Srijut, SJT, Aurobindo Ghosh. So it was there, Shri, actually not Shri, but Srijut is a honorific, unlike Sri Aurobindo. So Srijut Aurobindo Ghosh, that's how it was written, as an honorific. So many people think Shri is also an honorific, but that's not how it is. And many times later on, he would also write sign of as Kali. In some of his letters from Pondicherry, written to Motilal Roy, they have the signature as Kali. Many people think that it is done so that the British government won't understand. But this is a stupid argument. I mean, anybody would know that it's coming from there. His handwriting is there. But he was identified with Kali because he was still into the revolution, conducting the revolution. He was the spearhead of the revolution. And then subsequently, so he was signing off as Kali. And then for quite some time, he would sign off as AG, A.G. And that's when one of the ladies objected to whom? To Sri Aurobindo. She says, I don't like that people write your name as AG. He said, okay, who writes? He said, everybody calls you AG. I don't like it. So Sri Aurobindo just smiled. He was hardly concerned. But then next day they found that mother had written that Sri Aurobindo's full name is Sri Aurobindo. And from somewhere around 1933, it became Sri Aurobindo. Otherwise, in Arya, many times you will see AG. He signs off as AG, right from Arya days. So Sri Aurobindo now is a full name. Sri is not a honorific. This has been explained by number of people, including Nalini Da, Amal Kiran. Nalini Da wrote a letter under the guidance of the mother that Sri Aurobindo is the full name. So when you just say without the Shri, actually the mantric quality is being lost. It doesn't matter to Sri Aurobindo, but it matters to us because the mantric quality is lost. So when people use the word instead of Krishna, they use Kisan Kanaiya, it's okay, no problem. Krishna is fine if you call him Krishna, but his name is Krishna. So that's because it has a mantric quality. The names have a mantric quality, especially when there is an avatar's name. We must understand that name summarizes all the mantras. That's how we have the name of Rama. And there have been yogis. Valmiki himself, he was advised to meditate on the name Rama by somebody who knew that what role he is going to play. Kabir Das speaks of Rama as the name which can completely change you. So name of Krishna and now Sri Aurobindo. So Sri Aurobindo is the full name. One can use Sri Arvind if one wants, But that's it. Other names, it's up to each one. If they don't want to use Sri, there is no compulsion. It's not a Mullah Maulana group that people start saying Sar Tan se juda. But then, well, if you have to use the name, why not enjoy the full power and the full vibration? So in itself, it makes a mantra. This is the background of just the name of Sri Aurobindo. Since we are talking of Sri Aurobindo, we might as well talk about the mother. So mother's name, as we know, is Mira Alfasa. And Mira is Mirra. So if you have to write it in Hindi, it is with a small e, choti ki matra. However, Sri Aurobindo in his writing has written Mira Devi, Mira. So people, when they ask that can we write this, yes, what has been written by Sri Aurobindo, who are we to contradict? And there is a very beautiful experience of, I think it is Nagin Doshi or someone, he writes a letter to Sri Aurobindo that I was hearing a Mira Bhajan. So in Mira Bhajan you will see time to time, at some point she will write, they like ancient poets, the last couplet they will write their name. So Mira Magan Bhai, so her name will come. He said the moment I would hear this, he had an awakening of Kundalini and had, he says, I was in a state of ecstasy. How can this be? Because this is Mira's song. And this is not the name which, we are accustomed to. He says, why not? The name has that power in it. So the name Mira or Mira, both names have their own validity. But to us, she is known as the mother. So everybody calls her the mother in the ashram and the devotees all over. But D is with a small t. This needs to be clarified because many people, nothing wrong in writing with a capital T. The mother. But it depends on how the emphasis you put. So this I had clarified once long back because I was also not very sure, and the mother herself. But when you write it on books of the mother, you write with a capital T and that's understood. So otherwise, she is the mother, ma, amma, whatever you want to, because the mother now is not just a name, it is the way the soul connects with her. So that's the beauty of her name. So this is the background. Now we can read something on Sri Aurobindo, which she starts with. And as we know, the very first statement is from her prayers and meditation, where the mother, the moment she saw Sri Aurobindo, she writes, she recognized in him. Whom did she recognize? She recognized Krishna. She recognized the avatar. Because she already had in her vision, Sri Aurobindo used to, she didn't know about Sri Aurobindo that time. She had not heard about him. There was this Asiatic figure who would appear before her, and he used to have like a dhoti thrown across the shoulder, and she used to spontaneously call him Krishna. So this is how she had a relation. She had many such contacts with many yogis, saints, rishis that she describes. But with one she formed a deep bond. And that figure which used to come to her, the moment she met Sri Aurobindo and saw him for the first time, she recognized. So she says that, she writes, it matters little that there are thousands of beings plunged in the densest ignorance. So she knew that he is the avatar, but she never knew where she is going to find him and where she would discover the Krishna whom she was already in touch with. He whom we saw yesterday is on earth. His presence is enough to prove that a day will come when darkness shall be transformed into light, and thy reign shall be indeed established upon earth. So, some people feel it just a feeling or the expression of deep adoration, but it's none of those things. She recognized the avatar. When the avatar is on earth, it is like the moment you recognize that the sun is there, then however dense the darkness, however thick the night, the sun is going to, you don't need many suns. You need one sun. Before that, you may need several candles and diyas and stars. But the sun is one and alone. His presence is enough. Why? Because what does the avatar do? He brings into contact of earth the highest divine forces, especially that dimension which he has come to represent. Those divine forces which are now needed for earth. Because divine force is one, but at each level it expresses itself differently. So in matter also there is divine force, but hidden inside the obscurity. In human mind also the divine force is acting, but it is behind. That's why we are in a state of ignorance. It is slowly illumining the mind little by little. But in the supramental effulgence, the divine force in all its glory and greatness. So that was the sign. She knew that this earth is going to be transformed, because that is the work of the avatar. Even if nobody recognizes him, the work will be done, because he, by the very fact he takes a human body, he brings those forces in contact with matter. That's all that is required. All of us have a little bit of matter that we cannot deny. We may deny the soul, we cannot deny matter. So avatar's action is on matter. So the moment matter slowly begins to receive the impact and change from within, yields its divine possibility. That's how it works. So there is everything hidden in matter, right up to the supramental, the divine. That's a whole subject. We'll not get into it, but it releases, because it's like ultimately it becomes plastic and it releases. And when it releases, what happens? A new species is created. That's the story of every evolution, because once a new possibility comes out, that previous species begins to become on its own, a kind of restlessness begins to see, like in monkey. You see a strange curiosity. If you go to Vrindavan, you will see monkeys who are, they just, you have a mobile or a chashma, spectacle, they will snatch it before you can realize. I have seen people saying, be careful, because they have experienced it. Be careful, the monkey is here, can take away your phone, take away your glasses. And just then the monkey came and took his own glasses. And they are very smart. You have to give them fruity or something and then they will throw it back. So it's a transaction. They have learnt all the bad things of human beings. So anyways, so monkeys are extremely curious. So they are very restless, as if something is going to, very difficult to make a monkey sit. That's why it is called as a monkey mind. That's how Swami Vivekananda describes it. But what is happening? The mental consciousness has come to a point where it wants to just come out. And it comes out in man. But the moment it begins to come, it begins to modify the form. We see from the Neanderthals, Neanderthals is much later, Cro-Magnon, Australopithecus, still man. It has progressively modified the skull, the fingers and the posture, and until we have now man. Because this is what the new consciousness does. It has to integrate with matter. So Sri Aurobindo's presence, she sees that now matter is going to yield the next divine possibility, which is what he calls as the supramental being. So it was very clear that the work is going to be done. And the reign of the divine means this. The reign of the divine doesn't mean that suddenly there will be a king or a human being who will start giving a code, the 10 commandments, and human beings will rub it and write a 11th commandment, don't listen to any of this. No, the divine doesn't act like that. The commandments are all within. So he awakens man to a new possibility. He changes, he reigns, he is the king of hearts before anything else. So by reigning upon the human heart, he changes from within. That's how Savitri describes that, when thus shall the mass transcendent mount his throne, when darkness deepens, strangling the earth's mind, and man's corporeal mind is the only lamp. As a thief's in the night shall be the covert tread of one who steps unseen into his house. A voice ill-heard shall speak, the soul obey. A power into minds in a chamber steal. A charm and sweetness open life's closed doors, and beauty conquer the resisting world. Nowhere he is saying man has to do yoga. It's very strange. Everything is like a compulsion, it will happen. Because the moment a new possibility opens, it will start working. And that's what we see in the world. So very often people see the world, they start becoming cynics and have different dismal hopes sometimes. So all that is required to be said. Sometimes they say, you are very optimistic about the world. Yeah, I say, yes, I'm optimistic about the world because I am looking at Sri Aurobindo. And as simple as that. So this is another thing which the mother says about Sri Aurobindo, that he has come to bid the earth to prepare for its luminous future. So very beautifully carved words. Prepare. See, everything that she writes, so he has come to prepare. Luminous future is definite. And actually it's in the logic of things. Why would evolution stop with man? It's the most illogical thing ever. I used to think about it even much before. I said, how can evolution? When I didn't believe in God, I said, there is a energy which is active, it has evolved from dust to man. Why would it suddenly stop abruptly? Logic is that it will go beyond man. So there have been thinkers who have thought about it also. Teilhard de Chardin, then, who was that? Bergson. So they speak about this possibility because it's logical, common sense. So luminous future is certain. Why we use the word luminous? Because unlike Isaac Asimov and others, we believe that the divine consciousness has become this world. So what has gone in will emerge. So that's why future, luminous future. So what about man? Man is a transitional being. Just like today we have animal vis-a-vis man, there will be man vis-a-vis Superman and the supramental being. He is destined to be overpassed. Another proof of this is that there is no single law by which man governs himself. He is like still discovering, poor fellow. Million years plus. He doesn't know himself. He doesn't know what he is seeking. Of course, everybody believes that they know and everybody believes that what they want in life. But you see how it is changing. There is no single format in which you can put in humanity, unlike animals, because man is now evolving into a different dimension altogether. From man starts the individual basis of divine manifestation. That's why one has to go through the narrow passage. All that is a different story, but Sri Aurobindo has come to bid the earth. Not just bid the earth, he is not just predicting, he is preparing, which adds a different thing altogether. That means the yoga and all that he has written is so that we can receive the future. Otherwise, future will come. Sun does not wait that, okay, Mr. So-and-so, have you got up? I will come. How many have got up? He is not a Democrat. How many have gotten up? Let's decide. Should I come out? He is not consulting his council of ministers. Sun comes out. You want to sleep? You sleep. Your choice. So if man is not ready, the future will come, touch him and go. That's precisely that's much worse. So that's why he has come to prepare. And then he of course says Sri Aurobindo has brought to the world the assurance of a divine future. So I would only say, oh cynics and skeptics, please read Sri Aurobindo if you want to brighten up your days. Because otherwise, every little thing, people keep asking, what is happening in America? What is happening there? I said, wait, when you know the ultimate story. So if somebody asked at the time of Mahabharata, what is going to happen every day? If you read Mahabharata, it's very interesting. So, oh my God, this is what has happened. Oh my God, he has died. Till 9th day, Pandavas were getting a very bad hit, incidentally. What is going to happen? So, what would somebody with a different eye say? You know what? This is a fixed match. Shri Krishna has already shown the future to Arjun. It will reveal itself. You don't worry. You just put yourself on the side of the divine. This is our task. As the mother says, no human will can prevail against the divine will. Put yourself deliberately on the side of the divine and the victory is certain. He doesn't need us to be, but he wants us so that we can share the victory. That's why the delay, often people say. So that as many can get ready and get into it. That's why he is delaying the bus. Some people say that, why isn't this happening soon? How many will board the bus? Even we are not ready. So he has stopped the like, train or the, stellar flight, galactic flight. Come. You see that movie was there, no? That 2020 or Doom. Correct, 2012. Where they're waiting, this child is going to come. Same thing in Steven Spielberg, other movie, Cocoon. So he is waiting. How many will come? There will be a time when the flight will take off. And much will be just collapse. This predicted. But in God years, 100 years, human years, you can say, that's a blink of an eye. So I suppose by 20, maybe 72, let's give a, things will reach a decisive point of separation will start. Maybe another 100 years and there'll be total changeover from one species to another. Sri Aurobindo has come on earth. Sri Aurobindo has come on earth not to bring a teaching or a creed in competition with previous creeds or teachings. So, this idea of comparing Sri Aurobindo, proving he is superior, this, that, it's not necessary at all. It is something different. It's a different thing altogether. So, there used to be one advertisement, sorry, I tend to sometimes, there is a new product which has come in the market and the person tastes it and then somebody asks, Khata hai? Is it sour? And he says, no, it's different. So another person asks, is it sweet? Mitha hai? He says, no, it's different. So, it's different. As simple as that. This can be a reply, how it is different, figure out. Find out. Because the aim is different. It's not individual moksha. To start with, the aim is different. The method, of course, we believe that there are different paths. Yes. Sanatana Dharma. But where the goal itself is different. Where Sri Aurobindo says, my yoga begins where other yogas end. So it's different. And because the goal is different, the process is different. So, he says, so this is not a competition with any creed or teaching. But to show the way to overpass the past and open concretely the route towards an imminent and inevitable future. Lovely words. So many of 60-70% of these statements were in original English in this book. So first he says that there is no competition between Sri Aurobindo's teaching and other teachings. What he has come to show us the way to overpass the past. That's why another reason why we don't put Maharishi, Mahayogi, this thing, 108 Shri, nothing before Sri Aurobindo. And the logic is very simple. And Sri Aurobindo himself once says, Shuddho Sri Aurobindo is fine. In Bengali, like plain and simple Sri Aurobindo is fine. Right? Because anything else you put, Superman doesn't fit into any of these categories. He's not a saint. He's not a rishi. He's not a yogi. He's all of these things, by the way. But you can't fix a category in that way because he's something that transcends the highest human possibility. So what transcends the highest human possibility? Highest human possibilities is saint, sage, seer, yogi. These are the highest possibilities. Now it transcends. So what that is, we'll not talk now. So overpass the past. And to open concretely the route towards an imminent and inevitable future. Imminent is something which is about to come. That's why the avatar comes when there is a crisis. So if you look at the time of Sri Aurobindo's coming, 1872, and look at the next 50 years, what kind of a crisis in which earth went through. And in fact, till his physical withdrawal, just like Sri Krishna, many similarities. Till Sri Krishna's withdrawal, even on the time of his withdrawal, there is extreme crisis. After his withdrawal, things start getting sorted out, and India over the next 4,000 years remains a secure and strong nation. At least 3,500 years for sure. So we can see that, right till then, There is so much crisis, whether it be revolutions, whether it be India's own independence war, many other places where independence came about during the time of Sri Aurobindo, where is a changeover from imperialism, democracy became more and more, people started speaking much more freely about, the three great things about the French Revolution, though that is late end 1700. But actually, if you see, that now that's the cry today on earth. So many things, communism rose and started collapsing. All this in time of Sri Aurobindo. He has said that communism will die. If at all it establishes itself, it has to be on a Vedantic basis. It cannot be on the basis of the political ideology today. And of course, the two great wars, Mahabharata war looks very decent when you look at the two great wars. Ramayana looks like fantastic. When you compare the two great, and all this is during Sri Aurobindo's physical presence. So if you really look at the world when Sri Aurobindo comes, and the world when Sri Aurobindo leaves, one man's perfection still can save the world. This is the line that comes because the world literally changes. And from 56 onwards, the last real crisis in that sense was the Cuban Missile Crisis. Really, that was a push button. Now, we thought that Russia is going to nuke. It did nuke. So, after that, it's not, as I said, there will be a time gap. But if you compare that period and subsequently how things began to change, the women's situation, the way the youth, education in every sphere, of course, old people don't like the youth. Well, in every generation. This is not new. And I would say sign of old age is when you don't like the youth. So it means that your time for vanaprastha, because you don't understand us. Please. Because they are different. Again, they are different. It's not that they are bad. They're different. Of course, all kinds of people always exist everywhere. So this is where he says that imminent and inevitable future. This is very interesting. Sri Aurobindo does not belong to the past nor to history. Very interesting. They don't know where to put Sri Aurobindo. Every ideology has a problem. Even communists, they accept Sri Aurobindo speaks of matter is divine, very good. Equality, very good. But divine element they don't accept. So they don't know whether to accept or refuse. In Kolkata, Bengal, there is a big problem. Whether to accept him or not accept him. The traditional Hindu Sanatanis, they accept. Why? Because Veda, Gita and all that. But then Sri Aurobindo speaks of going beyond it. Now they don't understand. He doesn't say that matter is illusion. He doesn't say earthly life is illusion. He says it's a field of manifestation of the divine. So they also accept but can't accept because it doesn't belong to history. He speaks of democracy, but he says that this is on a dying curve. So now, you see, what is going to come? Certainly not dictatorship. What is going to come? Let me not get into that interesting subject. So this is where you see, all these are makeshift arrangements of humanity. When humanity awakens to the inner light, inner truth, when intuition will awaken. Somebody had asked this question in Gurugram. How do you foresee the world till in another 2047? I said that what I foresee, and it's something very beautiful that we can look forward in the next 50 years. Based on the intuition and based on what should be. And more intuition is going to awaken. It will awaken just like the mind started reasoning. Right now we say, how to awaken intuition? Arey bhai, change the consciousness, intuition will awaken. Because intuition is just waiting, knocking. Even AI will do this thing, very interestingly. One side, it will make man lose his mental faculties. Collapse. Majority probably. But some, there will be an awakening of intuition. This is nature's process. And maybe 50 years down the line. Nowadays, people choose, couple, how do they choose each other? They don't see Janam Patri and what Patri, I don't know. How many things people are prone to. They don't seek approval of this and that. What do they see? They say gel, they use the word. I gel. Ask them, what is gel? They don't know what it means to gel. What is gel? It's a play of intuition. It's they don't understand, they don't have words. And it has already begun actually. Even in choices of career and many things, we don't understand because we think, "Arey, what is this? Why the person is going this way? Why the person is doing that?" Because we can't understand the working of intuition. Just like when man started rationally acting, animal would have not understood that what is this fellow doing? Why is he doing? Why is he lighting up that fire? What has that got to do with eating? No, initially, that what is he doing? And then they realize that this is the first power that man acquired. With which today literally it is rocket science. Starts from fire. There is a possibility like that. So basically, intuition will awaken regardless of practice, non-practice. And the moment it begins to awaken, you will have the new Satsyuga. Basically, it's that. And anyway, so so Sri Aurobindo is the future advancing towards its realization. So he comes from the future. We have those stories, no, of people coming from the future. They are science fiction, but so lovely. And here is someone who comes from the future to tell us what the future will be and prepare us for that, and then waits, carries us through the journey. So he belongs to the future. And why she is using the word advancing means it's not just an announcement but a power. So he comes to earth, takes the earth consciousness, starts moving towards it. Come. It's like someone drops in and says, "Come, this is where you have to go." You are bhulo bhatkoing. Sorry for that strange word. You're lost which way to go. 100 years back, lost which way to go. Materialism, positivism, communism, spiritualism was not there. Religion, superstition, all these kind of things. Suddenly he comes. And none of these, he doesn't choose either or option. He just picks up a handful of human beings, starts saying this is the direction. And then as people begin to move, first based on faith, in intuitive sense, aspiration, more and more people begin to join. That's how he does. So he comes to take us to the future. Thus we must shelter the eternal youth required for a speedy advance in order not to become laggards on the way. One word summarizes everything. Who is a young person? So by definition, old is somebody who is always looking, Mera sundar sapna beet gaya. He is always saying, in my time days were very nice. In my time, everything was good in your time. Come on, you are not living in heaven. But see, and what is strange, even women, my time. So sometimes I ask them that you were not using all this parda, could you move like this freely? No, but whatever it was good. I said, that's okay. That is attachment to a way of life. My time. So when somebody looks to the past, he's grown old. Somebody looks to the future, he's young. It doesn't matter. Whatever is the physical age. So you are always looking toward the future. How to progress, how to take another step, next step, nothing else. And that's the best vitamin F for remaining young forever. I can tell you death will be warded because you are looking for something you have to strive for. Your whole body, mind will work to put you in gear for that which you are. This is the problem when people go to a doctor, they make you already feel. Now you have come to us, okay, now I am going to write how many years you have. And then you are lost in that maze. Oh my God, I have hypertension, I have this. Then slowly when two old people meet, say, हम तो जी बीपी का दवाई लेते, हम शुगर का दवाई लेते. ये क्या discussion है? I am taking BP medicine. So I take sugar medicine. Then they will discuss which doctor is better. And then slowly, you are beginning to die much before. But to turn toward the future, then death itself becomes a passage. You don't die, you take a leap toward the future. Because you have been so much like, that person's death in the ashram where mother says, just because of his enthusiasm to serve Sri Aurobindo, his whole being was gathered up like the service tree, and she saw it fusing with Sri Aurobindo's supramental light. She uses the word solar light. Just imagine. So that's called turning towards the future. Then there is no death, you take a leap. And these things, children, today, just now, outside the dispensary, one 11-year-old boy, he was the first boy, one of the first to ask me question on Ask Alokda. He suddenly says, hello, just hold on. Alokda, what is death? I said, you simply move from one room to another. So people in this room don't see you. So they think, where have you gone? But the person who has gone to the other room knows that he is in another room. Because obviously he knows. And then what happens? He said he comes back, but he comes back like changing the costume, like in movies. So these people here, they don't recognize. So he said, that's simple. I said, yeah, oh, then it's fine. He understood. The beauty is he understood. Then I told him, please send the question on Ask Alokda. Don't ask me like this. This is an interesting question. The beauty is not the answer. The beauty is that he understood immediately what I am saying. I said, actually, there is no death. It's just moving from one room to another. This fellow who goes, he figures out, he knows where he has gone. But these people, because they don't see, so they wonder where he has gone. And they make all kinds of theories about death. And then he comes back, but his attire is changed, so they don't recognize. He says, oh, that's very simple. I said, yes. If children ask around 10 or 11. So you see, all these changes, these are new children, they are changing. We should shelter the eternal youth. I know a 5-year-old boy, he was going on the scooter with me. So he saw some people crying. He asked me, why are they crying? Dad, why are they crying? I said, somebody has died. He says, okay, but why are they crying? It's what a question. Yes, somebody has died, but why are they crying? So I said, because they think they have lost him forever. He said, but that much he was a little conversant. But he will come back, no? Don't they know? I said, yes. Their mind knows, but their heart doesn't know. Their senses doesn't know. Oh, by then it was okay. It had crossed the scene. But these are children of the future. Then comes something very powerful, I think, with which we can probably stop. Let's see. So the mother, this was a message for broadcast by All India Radio, Tiruchirappalli, 15th August 1964. So people often ask, Sri Aurobindo, who is he? A philosopher, a yogi, a rishi, all kinds of things. I say, you know what? Sri Aurobindo is the answer. I say, answer? I said, you must figure out the question. Then, there is a novel, what is that? Very famous. Galaxy or something. I'm forgetting the name. So, where the person says they are working on a computer for centuries. They are trying to solve a problem. And after many, some generations down, suddenly they are continuing to work. Suddenly say, oh, the answer is 42. Hitchhiker to the Galaxy. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So now they know there is the answer, the jubilation. But they say, but what was the question? So Sri Aurobindo will not be understood unless we have the right question. If you are just reading Sri Aurobindo to compare, contrast, vis-a-vis Vedanta, vis-a-vis Tantra, vis-a-vis this religion, that religion, we won't. Because he's the answer. A world's desire compelled her mortal birth. Of course, they're referring to Savitri. So if we don't have the quest within, we don't have the seeking, Purely by the philosophical mind and analytical mind, we won't understand, because Sri Aurobindo is not writing philosophy. He is giving us the answer to the problems that has vexed mankind since ages. That's how the life divine starts, the human aspiration. So if that aspiration is there in us, the aspiration that may this world becomes truly a beautiful divine place, not the aspiration that I want to escape somehow, not just to understand intellectual gymnastics and dialectics about whether God is or is not. And then if you give the answer, he is and is not, then there is a problem, because human mind can't, it has to have. That's how, that Sufi song, Tu ek gorak dhanda hai. You are there and you are not there. Tell me clearly whether you are or you are not there. Basically, it's about manifest and unmanifest. But what Sri Aurobindo is bringing is something new from the unmanifest, from the transcendence. It has never been done. So, if I am satisfied with life as it is, that's what the mother says. One of the criteria for this yoga, if you are satisfied with life as it is, then you can read, but you won't really appreciate. But if you feel that all the teaching, all that one has read, all that one has understood, known, does not really answer to the completeness, the question in your heart. It doesn't completely answer. It gives some, like, halfway home, not fully satisfied. If you believe that whatever senses show us is not the ultimate reality, if you understand that your mind, all that it has conjured, is not the ultimate truth, not the complete truth, there is something missing. You have the answers, but something is missing. Then one is ready for Sri Aurobindo, because Sri Aurobindo is the answer. So that's how she says in this message, what Sri Aurobindo represents in the history of the earth's spiritual progress is not a teaching. He is not bringing a new teaching. Teaching is a way to live, do this, do that, etc., etc. Not even a revelation, thus shall it be. So what is he bringing? It is a mighty action straight from the Supreme. It changes the whole perspective. Teaching is something that a master gives and you live by that. Either you live by that or you fall by that. Master says, I have given you the teaching. That's the end of the story. And then he says, it's not even a revelation. That, future will be like that 300 years, 1000 years down the line. Like John who gave this teaching about the coming of Christ. Different people, of course, put different interpretation, but that's how he saw that Christ will come. He also saw about the coming of a future age. So there are people who have had revelations and they gave to the earth a revelation. There's a whole book of revelations in Bible if you really look at it. And here, he is not giving us a revelation that it will be like that and you believe or not believe. No. He is literally carrying us. So he is a mighty action, means he is not only revealing to us, not giving a teaching. It's like a tremendous current which is taking humanity toward that imminent future. So it's a mighty action. Karma dhara, that's how they use the word. Sri Aurobindo karma dhara. So that means it changes the perspective. What do I have to do? It's not like I understand a teaching and try to follow. It's not that I believe in the revelation and wait for one day he shall come to our cry. We have to join that current, mighty current, whose name is Sri Aurobindo. And the moment we join that mighty current, there is no fees for it, there is no formal initiation for it, there is no baptization for it. You don't have to join the Ashram, Auroville, anywhere. How do you join Sri Aurobindo? Either simply by that faith, that seeking, that aspiration for that kind of future. Then you join, because those who aspire for a life which is beautiful and divine automatically are picked up. Simply by faith that divine has created this world is going to be a beautiful place. Suddenly you will be picked up. Or very simply, Sri Aurobindo Name Anando. Take joy in His name. That's the simplest, because it's a current. His name is a power. So by just simply taking that name, the whole being is galvanized, charged, and carries us toward the future. So Sri Aurobindo is a mighty action straight from the Supreme. So this is for today, and next time we'll take up the Mother. Jai Ma.